It's good to be here. There's an outline going around. If you didn't get it, Kurt, where's Kurt?
Right here.
Coach Wessler has it. Doug, where's Doug? Former player of mine, Doug has it. If you don't have one, just raise your hand so one of them can get it to you. I was asked to do this, and it really got me thinking in a very positive way, about pitching. Let me say this first and foremost. You guys are at an age right now where it's really difficult to determine, in my opinion, if a young man is going to be a pitcher or not, if he's going to be successful pitching. So with that said, I encourage you to allow them the opportunity to pitch, even if it is built into your practice organization. I know that Coach Hignite and Coach Minute spoke about practice organization, and they gave you some ways to kind of set a blueprint for that. But I encourage you, and I know you're not with them every day, but I absolutely encourage you to allow a young man the opportunity to pitch, because you really don't know at your age. I'll just use Alex Wood as an example. When he was 8, 9, 10 years old, he had a hard time walking and chewing gum. He's got a good chance right now as a former player of mine to possibly be in the big leagues this September. He reported to a big league camp the other day, and had I had that attitude and I was let's say a father that was coaching and he was struggling with that and he didn't get the repetitions he needed then, and I told him he couldn't pitch, then he may not be where he is today. So please understand the importance. It's very difficult to judge where a young man's going to be down the road. So I encourage you to come up with a plan that allows each kid to work on the pitching aspect, not especially in a game. I understand that. You may have some safety issues, but it may click. It may click with physical growth. It may click with a coach asking him to do something in a way that he's never been asked, but just hang with him. With that said, your outline, is basically, I'm going to go over the delivery sequence, in my opinion, what it is, just physically what it is from start to finish. After that, I'm going to go over the physical absolutes. Again, in my opinion, through the years of playing as a catcher, as an assistant coach, as a head coach, being around various organizations, what I consider to be the physical absolutes and the mental absolutes. I don't think there is a reason to say, from a fundamental standpoint, that you can't teach a 4-year-old this. Now, you might have to be a little more patient, or an 8-year-old, or even my level. You might have to be more patient, and that goes along with, truly learning how you players learn. But really the number one goal, as a pitcher, is to get outs. Now, that doesn't mean a strikeout. And understand, we're just trying to get outs. There are a lot of positives that go in to getting outs. So with that said, that doesn't mean strikeout. And the first thing we need to do, and Mike, in his hitting speech, talked about really deprogramming. When you get a young guy, explain to him the value of keeping his team and his defense behind him on their toes and into the game. And we're going to talk about tempo and rhythm and pace. But, the idea to strike everybody out is going to cause several problems, in my opinion. You're going to elevate pitch count, so he's going to be out of the game earlier, okay? And it's really going to force him to pitch away from what we're trying to do. We're trying to command the strike zone, the entire plate, consistently. So we want to pound the zone and force that barrel to hit the ball so we can get in and out of the inning. So with that said, the delivery sequence, I think it starts with a good setup. A good setup, good posture on the mound. With that said, should he set up on the right side? That's a very good question. Left side, middle. The only thing I can tell you is this, okay? If we want to throw to the entire plate, we've got to watch and see when he throws in a bullpen, okay, where he's having trouble delivering the ball. In other words, if he can't get to his arm extension side, maybe your terminology is glove side or oppo of arm, then he may need to move over on the pitching plate. Vice versa, if he has a hard time missing off to his arm side, you may need to move him over. So toy with that and experiment to where it could be as simple as just moving him on that pitching plate to see where he has the command of the entire plate. So with the setup, we talk about laser focus. And the thing is, is, you know, I have a I've had a great opportunity to have, you know, a man come to me just out of the blue that handles our pitchers. But this is one thing that we've gone with in a big way the last 3 years, and that's to focus on the target. And all that means is Mike Schilt talked about hitting and to find that arm slot. Well, eventually before we pitch, we want to be in a situation, and to me this is an absolute. We want to be in a situation where we know exactly where we want to throw the ball. Now, one thing we do to make that point in our practice is, have you ever been to a yard sale and you see the little pieces of, I guess they're circles or whatever, the stickers, and you got the price on it, whether it be green or orange? Well, in our bullpens daily, we put those on the bottom of the catcher's mitt to have them something to focus on. And to me, that allows them to focus entirely on that. Number one, it's down in the zone. Number two, it's over the plate. And that's really helped us a lot. But the idea is, in that setup, is to focus down in the zone on that color, on that sticker, every single time we throw. To me, that's important for several reasons. I'll get into it when we get in more of the physical part. But again, Mike mentioned this in hitting. I heard Coach Poole did a phenomenal job with infielders. You know, you want your eyes to be behind the ball that you field. Coach Schilt mentioned being behind the ball here when you hit. Well, without a doubt, in pitching, you know, your eyes are going to take your head, and again, it's a chain reaction after that. So a lot of times, you know, it's as simple when you're watching them throw, face them and watch their eyes. If their eyes are drifting, more times than none, in my opinion, that's taking their head off the ball, and all you got are off the line that we want to be on. And to me, we go back to laser focus on that sticker, and that has really helped us a great deal. There will be a time in the delivery, though, that the head does come off, but again, we don't want that to be too early. So that's the first thing. With that said, the question is do we teach and do we incorporate with a young kid the rocker step? So we've got a setup on the pitching plate where we're athletic, okay, where we're gripping the ball in our glove. Should our hands be at our waist level? Should they be at our chin? Should they be in the middle of the chest? You know, should it be hard against our chest? You know, I don't know if I have an answer for that. I think you got to watch a kid. And one thing I'm going to talk about during this presentation is when that foot lands, in my opinion, their elbow's got to be in a certain position. And if their elbow's not in that certain position, it could be from the very simple fact of where he's setting up. He may be late or early when his hands break. So just watch him. Be very in tune to where his hands are to start with. I can tell you this throughout the delivery. You know, to me, it's important to keep your hands somewhat centered in between your ears to a certain degree, but at the same time, again, we're going to talk about when we land where the arm is. If you get a kid that gets outside of his head a little bit, but he's able to land properly and be in line, I don't think we need to mess with that too often. So back to the question, should we teach a young player the rocker step? In my opinion, absolutely. I've seen too many youth league practices where anywhere from age, let's just say the 7-year-olds up to the 12 and 13, where they've just taught them a leg lift, but they haven't taught them, you know, the rocker step. Now, I will say this, that most of your money is made and your big-time pitchers are able to pitch with runners in scoring position, especially with a runner at second base. So for us, for example, with our work and what we do, we make it a big point to throw the majority of our bullpens out of the stretch. At the same time, the windup is something, in my opinion, that's important in teaching rhythm and momentum and alignment. So I think it all ties together. But again, to go back to it, I don't think there's too young of an age to teach the rocker step. And so you've got the setup and then the rocker step. Where do you set up? The big thing this day and time that I see around, and just in paying attention, if you can bear with me, if this is the front of the pitching plate right here, a lot of guys are already turned to the side, okay? And they take a step to the side, and then they get to a balance point. You know, I don't have a problem with that. What I can tell you is this. There are 2 points I'm going to talk about. There's to me an absolute as we get through this, if you see on your outline, that we need to have balance through our delivery. With that said, a lot of deliveries can have a problem from our first step. So to me, the first balance point is a checkpoint that you would check with your guys daily, and where the leg is. Okay, now I'm pitching this way, foot related to your back leg or post leg, okay? And where is that? You know, you see some guys that don't get quite, you know, to parallel to the floor. You see some guys that get beyond that. You get some guys that get deeper in their lift than others. You get others that lift outside of their front hip. Again, be careful before you take a picture of a big leaguer or a college pitcher or a good high school pitcher. Be careful of saying you have to lift deep and your foot has to be over your post leg. Be careful with that. At the same time, that may be all a young man needs for his arm to catch up and for him to get in line. So the first thing, the first balance point, the very first balance point is to here. To me, we keep it simple, okay? We keep it as simple as we can to get to that. The way we teach is we show them what we want first. So we show them this point and we go over some checkpoints. Foot is relaxed, okay? We're able to balance ourselves. To me, the foot is over the post foot, elbows are relaxed, and I'm in this position. Get them to hold that, get them to feel that. That's very important. And then we go back to the setup and we do the rocker step to get to that point. So we've shown them the objective, the goal, the first balance point of the delivery. Now we're going to back up to start over and get them there. I would recommend, again, just to start with their feet here and then have them raise their leg up at the same time. So we've shown them where we want to be. Now we're backing up. Now we incorporate the rocker step. For a right-hander, okay, in my opinion, if we're square, that's the best position. Okay, we're going to start with our glove foot slightly forward of our arm foot. So my left foot in this case is slightly ahead of my right foot, and my first step is going to be short and sweet, and to me, straight back causes a problem. Okay, off to the side may work. To me, in teaching a kid from the ground level up, we get somewhere in between. As we're doing that, to me it's important our shoulders stay square and our head stays centered. Now when we do that, again, we've shown them the objective. Okay, it's just going to be an out and then a turn. And I would literally hold the guys in that position. So again, we've shown them the top part of it. Now we've had them lift to here to feel it. And now we're on step one, hold. Step two, hold. Now lift to that point I just showed you. Boom, I'm here. One thing I'm big on is momentum. Okay? Once you start, there are no pauses, no gaps. You go. Okay? Be careful in slowing a guy down or speeding him up. Be careful with that because you could cause some land, arm side throw timing issues. So with the rocker step to balance, before I move on, are there any basic questions? Okay, now the idea is to get to that old power position. The old power position. They have to have an understanding that the front side of their body, glove side, is their directional side. It's their control side. They also have to understand that we're putting ourselves in a position to let our arm work and let our backside, power side, to get over and through the ball and to get good extension. Okay, all of that, men, all of that can be thrown out the window if you go back to the first thing I said, their eyes. Watch their eyes. Keep their eyes on that target. With that said, if they're good all the way to here, the question is now, when do they break their hands? Do we tell all of our pitchers to break their hands once they start to go forward? Do we tell them that? I don't think so. I think for a young guy, it's a good starting point. In other words, to have a guy break now may be early. To have a guy break as they go now may be late. But a good starting point for your guys is once they start forward to break their hands, in my opinion. So with that said, as they're breaking, we have a line here. There's nothing wrong with putting a line in the dirt, putting a string down, painting the line in the grass, whatever you need to do to give them a visual, I think is a great thing. I will tell you this, anything that comes off glove side of that line is not good. So understand this, my goal is a straight line to my objective, which is the mid. There's a hallway in between. Anything that gets on the sides causes problems. To me, anything arm side of midline is okay to a certain degree. Now, you watch Jared Weaver with the Angels, he is big time. If this is midline, okay, he's way over here. And he's pitching around himself. Jared Weaver does a pretty good job, you know, and he's been doing that for many a year. No one has attempted to change that, because that's naturally what he does. That's why he gets sync, and that's why he gets movement. So with that said, make sure they have an understanding of alignment and direction. Now, with that, one of the most important things I'm going to tell you, I learned this from Gary Robinson. Again, I'm a listener. I've watched, I heard this from Gary probably 16 years ago, 17 years ago, right when I was getting into coaching. And he said, Bags, whatever it is, when that front foot lands, and let's talk about some checkpoints. When it lands, okay, we need to be closed. We need to have some flexion. Now understand, Mike just went over hit it. Okay, there's a difference between a strong flexed front side and a collapsed front side. So we want to have some flexion there, but I am in line here. Okay, I have a young man of mine that until a month ago was having trouble getting to here. Everything, when he was going to the plate, when he broke his hands, everything looked good. It was on time, he was relaxed, his hip was on the target, but he just at the very end pulled off to his glove side. So his landing literally looked like this, off of the midline. And the only thing I told him, the only thing I said was toe wins. That actually got him out where I needed him, and I want you to stride toward the right-handed batter's box. That was the only thought I wanted him to think about. And sure enough, okay, he got where we needed him. Now, he wasn't way over here, but he got where we needed him. And now, man, when he pulls off the midline, all I have to do is say, toe wins, right-handed batter's box, and that gets him in line. Any questions about direction? Okay, so that's what the lower half. Now, with that said, in working our way up, we're going to show them again that position here. Okay, I'm anchored back on the pitching plate. My head is back. My head is not going forward. We're going to do all we can to keep our head over our feet as long as we can inside here. Okay, that's a big goal. We do not want our head to follow our front side. Now understand that. What is a way to stay back? Again, real smart guy, Derek Johnson, Vanderbilt. He's now the roving guy for the Chicago Cubs. I've had many a good conversation with him, stolen from him, seen him at conventions. And he is a big, once we start, we're going to engage his front hip just a little bit. We're going to engage that front hip, and that's going to keep everything back a little more. We're going to be able to feel that inside our post leg a little more. It's going to keep us in line a little better. Be careful with the young guys in doing that, because this is a part of our lead-up drill. We will have our guys, we'll just say lift, go, and then we'll have them stop there. We want them to feel this right here, but be careful with the young guy when they do that and turning and then their shoulders start to tilt. Okay? It's just really isolated lower body, upper body. Here I am, there I am. I'm tall, but that is going to help me stay closed a little longer and stay back. And that is one of the biggest things that we've done in the last 4 or 5 years with our guys where we've had good success. So on the landing, okay, we're not across, or excuse me, we're midline or slightly across is fine. Anything glove side to midline, we've got problems. One way I teach it, you have 7 eyes. Okay, it's worked for me. 2 here, 3, 4 lead arm, 5, 6, and the ankle 7. I need those eyes on that orange sticker the entire way until my toe wins, and then I go. Okay, and that will hopefully put them in a situation where they understand from a leverage standpoint, I'm closed and I'm in line. In other words, if I'm striding across midline, Boom. Okay. These eyes right here, these imaginary eyes, are offline. So try to keep everything in line. With that said, on the handbrake, I can tell you this. Okay. And coming out of the glove, our hands got to be on top of the ball. Now, there's one thing, if you watch video of good players, and this is just something that I've seen, nothing, again, it's a theory. The old days of ball out of the glove, down and then out and then up, I think that's a bad way to teach it. I really do. I think we got to be out of the glove here, and then it's up. Man, it's up. It's out and up. It's out of the glove right here, and then up. Okay, now understand, I'm not saying this. I'm saying out of the glove here. Now, where's the position of the elbow when that happens? When that foot lands, to me, back to land throw timing, that elbow's got to be up. It's got to be. Most, in my opinion, of your throwing issues and command issues are going to be caused by lack of land throw timing, meaning you will notice, if you really watch your guys that are struggling with command and not achieving a repeatable delivery, is when that foot lands, invariably the ball's down. Invariably the ball's down. And what are some things you can do to fix that? I'll go back to the handbrake. Okay? Maybe you need to let him break a little early. Okay, we had our starting point. Okay, little Johnny. Okay, here he's late. Okay, before saying break early, what I would do is I would have little Johnny get a little deeper in his lift this way. Not too much, just a little bit, and that would give his arm, in my opinion, time to catch up. If that doesn't work, okay, go back, have him lift normal, and then break just a little bit earlier before he starts forward. Okay, again, paying attention, understanding the foundation. When that foot lands, elbow's got to be up. Any questions about that? Okay, next, with that, on the finish. On the finish. To me, a wrist flip drill, I told this to the I think I had the 8-year-old group. To me, that is, in my opinion, and I did it for 5 years. And I finally looked and said, why am I doing this? The old wrist flip, where you flip the ball and you're behind the ball and, you know, you're able to see spin. I've never seen a pitcher throw and just be behind the ball here. Every pitcher that I've seen throw gets over the ball. They get over the baseball, and then they finish through the baseball. So in teaching, in my opinion, again, stay away from the wrist flips, especially at a young age, because this is what it turns into to me. You ready to catch this? Just a wasted, absolutely getting nothing done drill that you've wasted 2 or 3 minutes, you know, of your time teaching that. Were really, again, in my opinion, I don't think it emphasizes anything. So from the landing to the finish, one thing we try to tell our guys, okay, is put your back shoulder blade into the mitt. And that's going to allow them, in my opinion, to get out here and finish correctly. Okay, understand on the finish, that's the deceleration phase. Now, is Alan still here? I don't want to do you, where's Alan? I don't want to do you any injustice. But Alan, tell me, that's where most of your problems occur, right or wrong. That's from lack of mechanics. 1, 2, lack of strengthening, especially in the scap area, right? And all that put together, not good, okay? One thing I will tell you is we want to stay on line with our eyes. Eventually, your head's going to come off the line in the delivery. And if you want to put that back shoulder blade, in my opinion, in that mitt, okay, your head's going to come off the line. And then Mark Pryor, to me, was taught at a very young age to keep those eyes and head on line, and he did, and everything worked that way, and he kept his head here, and it caused problems. So when you have that kid, be aware also that could be an arm injury waiting to happen too. So that's the physical part of the delivery. Now, so we talked about the 2 balance points. Here in the landing, we have to be balanced throughout the delivery. Okay, if you're having a problem here, to start with, minimize it. Shorten the step up, be easier with the lift. Maybe the lift is too jagged and too rigid. Smooth out the lift a little bit, okay? Try that. With that, head and eyes, we talked about that. To me, it's an absolute. Head goes where the eyes go. Big thing, guys, focus on it. Even in their throwing drills where they're not in the bullpen, have them have them just look at a part, play a game with them, play points. Throw to this shoulder, throw to that shoulder, this hip, that hip, and have them again focusing on a target. Timing, handbrake is huge. When, you got to figure that out. When do you break your hands? I don't know. Figure that out. But again, your checkpoint is when that foot lands, where's the ball, where's the elbow? Direction, straight line, stay in it, we got that. Landing, foot, glove, ball. And with that, let me talk about the glove. I talked about here. I've never seen a guy successful as a pitcher that's long here and short here. I've never seen a guy that's successful as a pitcher that's long with their backside or their throwing arm and short here. To me, it's got to be symmetrical. My opinion, in watching, most power pitchers are short out of the glove here, and most of those power pitchers that I've seen are short here and strong. Short and strong. So try to create a system or a situation where you're looking to where it's balanced. You get a big guy that's longer out, takes a little longer, he's got to be longer here. Got to be longer here with his glove outside his elbow. Any questions about that? So we've determined, and here's one of the other things, is we say front side's directional side, okay? We say front side's control side. Well, hold on a minute. Shouldn't we teach them to pull that front elbow down to get in position to throw? I think, in my opinion, absolutely not. Do you push off the pitching plate or do you pull? I think you're pulling off the pitching plate, and I think you are going to that glove. I think when you start on the directional side, pulling, you're going to pull off the ball, and you're going to cause a lot of issues when you do that. So just have them get to their glove as they go. Now, some other things. A sound finish, we talked about that. Mental absolutes. I've got about 2 minutes. First and foremost for our guys, compete. Short memory. Every coach talks about it. Compete and have a short memory. The thing is as hitters, Mike talked about finding that slot, okay? Absolutely. Pitchers need to learn to let it go, find that slot. We do a mental wind-up with our guys. They literally write it down for us. We go over it with the catchers. We all know when a pitcher out there, if he is out of his mental wind-up, something's wrong. They're stressed. That's when a good catcher goes out to talk to his pitcher. What is your pitcher's thought from the time a play happens to when he catches the ball? What's his breathing like? Is he thinking about the number of outs? Is he thinking about the next sign? Is he thinking about the runner? Whatever it is, we want him thinking about that, but we also want his physical actions to be close to the same. Does he walk out to the front of the mound? Does he turn around, face the outfield, his middle infielders? To me, those things are important to stay in that mental windup that allows him to fall back on a routine. We're all comfortable in a routine. Here's some facts. This is an absolute. Get ahead. You've all heard it. But I'm going to tell you right now, we're going to pound the zone early with fastballs and get ahead. Facts. 0-1. An 0-1 count, hitter has a 199 average, 1-0, 342. A 2-0 count, understand if you're 1-0, you're one pitch from being 2-0, highest count in baseball, 386. What does that mean? Pound the zone, pitch to contact. We have a 2 or 3 philosophy. Okay, we're ball one. I mean, we don't want to be in a situation where, he's done. We got to fight back now. We got to hit next 2, got to be strikes. And to get to 1-1, we got to bring that thing in big time and challenge. A couple other things, Ed, and I'm done. We want to try to obviously locate, change speeds, and create movement. Some absolutes, okay? 1 of 3 for a high-level pitcher. Superior velocity. If he's got that and not the other 2, he's got a chance to be okay. Superior velocity, command of the strike zone. You know, is he commanding? Is he hitting a mitt down in the zone? And then a little bit of funk or a little bit of something in that delivery where he hides the ball and it gets up on you. We've all seen that kid throw, okay, where his velocity's not that great, but the ball is beating bats. He's got a little funk in there. You get 2 of those 3, in my opinion, you got a guy. 3 of those 3, a real good guy. 1 of those 3, you can tone him down a little bit and teach him how to throw strikes. Make proper adjustments. Retire the first batter of every inning. Once you get 2 outs, guys, get the next guy. We don't want to extend it. Once you get 2, we're going to bear down and get the next guy. Very important. Establish the fastball early. If they can't handle it, why change? If you're going to establish a fastball early, see if, challenge them. Again, it goes with getting ahead 0-1. Challenge them early, stay with it if they can't handle it. Finally, be a sound fifth infielder, take pride in it, and fielding your position. Now, guys, that was real fast. I can just tell you this. Everything I just told you is just from my experience in watching pitchers and listening to guys. But just to sum it up, the most important thing here is to give a kid a chance with proper fundamentals. Make sure they understand what backside, front side, direction, and all that means. Make sure they understand what a proper finish is. But most of all, make sure they understand what competing is. Because you're not always going to have your best stuff. But if you're competing, you can get through it. And that's the bottom line. Thanks. Thank you.